imagine never seeing a sunset or the face of a loved one. It happens every day if you're someone with impaired vision. What about losing your ability to walk? Well, today we introduce you to two people who never asked why me, but rather, why not me?
You see more and more of them on the roads this time of year, particularly at the beach. But do you know your rights as either the driver of the scooter or the person driving next to them? Hey, let's toss a pedestrian into the mix. Well, today we're going to get some answers.
We see the words like light and fat-free on our food and drinks, and some of us seek them out as part of our diets. But are those products really what they say they are? Today we learn which foods some nutritionists say they'll never eat.
It was a blockbuster movie featuring Jessica Tandy and Kathy Bates, revolved around one simple garden vegetable. Today we're going to learn how to make fried green tomatoes.
And I'm out and about somewhere on the peninsula, but I can't tell you where. You'll find out soon enough. Delmarva Life starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Bryant.
I'm Jimmy Hoppa. Welcome to Delmarva Life from historic Studio D.
So, should we say it?
It's
hot.
Hot. In case you hadn't noticed.
But it's unhealthy. It's extremely hot and unhealthy for some people. In fact, we do have a heat advisory going on for most of Delmarva today.
And all this ozone talk, to break that down simply, it means smog. That's what it is, because all the particulates, I think is the big fancy word, stuff hanging in the air that as it gets up to this, initially, I think it's code orange, you have to worry about the young, the elderly. People with breathing problems. If we get to code red, that's everybody could start to feel the breathing issues when it comes to this. So.
Even Chris, our camera operator, who said he ran 6 miles this morning.
Right. Said he was like running in soup.
Yeah. So just be careful if you're getting out there. Cooling centers on Delmarva are now open, and you can get a list of all the cooling centers at delmarvalife.com. Play it safe. Want to start off our hot topics today with something I saw on CBS News this morning. John Roseman has been dispensing parenting advice in his newspaper column since 1976, making him one of the most trusted and longest running syndicated columnists in the country. Well, just recently, the state of Kentucky told him to stop identifying himself as a psychologist, even though he is a psychologist. He's not licensed in Kentucky. He's licensed in his home state of North Carolina. Okay. Apparently, they say that if he's not licensed in Kentucky or any other state, he shouldn't be.
He can't practice.
He shouldn't be practicing there. Well, one lawyer says that's really setting up a bad precedent because, we have television personalities like Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. Are they breaking the law anytime somebody in Kentucky watches them?
If they're not licensed in Kentucky.
If they're not licensed in Kentucky. So it's a really weird legal situation going on there. So what did we do? We took it to Facebook and we got some comments. This one from Billy Criswell. You can't see patients in a particular state if you aren't licensed to practice in it, but that doesn't make that person less of a practitioner. As long as he isn't seeing patients in a state he isn't licensed in, he is well within the rights. And then we have another commenter, Linda Cooper. She said, I agree. Agreed with Billy, obviously. But it's just interesting, you start tweaking and looking around and...
Right, that gets kind of particular. It's not that he's not one, he's just not licensed in that state.
Right.
So he knows what... Okay, so here's the question. We want to know what you think about it, okay? Like us on Facebook, let us know what you think, because that one seems like a no-brainer, but... Yeah. Maybe not. Yeah. Maybe not so much. Have you ever seen a dog with a yellow ribbon on its leash?
I have not.
I have not, but I would have thought, had I seen a picture like this, had I seen this great-looking lab with that yellow, I think they're remembering a soldier somewhere. That's not the case, okay? This is a program that's coming out. It's called the Yellow Dog Project. The deal is, if you see a dog with a leash that has a yellow ribbon, that means simply give them room.
Oh, okay.
It can be any number of things. Maybe it's an older dog that's scared of people. Maybe it's a dog that doesn't get along with other dogs. Maybe it's a dog that's going through training.
Right.
It could be any. What it means is give them room. The Yellow Dog Project has now made its mark in 45 countries. Educational materials have been translated into 12 different languages. So, if you see, or maybe even if you have a dog that has those circumstances, just doesn't like people or doesn't like other dogs or is in training, put a yellow ribbon on the leash.
Doesn't like tall people, maybe?
I don't know if that's on the list, but I guess that will.
You never know.
The tall people will stay away from the dog with a yellow ribbon on its leash.
Yeah.
Whew.
From dogs to ponies.
Yes. Oh, there's lots of stuff going on down there. We already know this. It's Pony Penning Week. As he does every year, Kevin McBride has painted his annual Chincoteague Pony Penning poster. Take a look. Isn't that gorgeous?
It is.
This is his 30th year. And what he did this year is featured his Chincoteague pony, Cezanne, its family and offspring. The reason for this is because Cezanne died last year. So that's the reason that Cezanne is the object of this year's artwork. You can see his and other work at the Osprey Nest Art Gallery on Main Street. So be sure to go by there and take a look at everything they have.
Yeah, you know, we've been hearing more and more stories about messages in bottles.
In bottles, yeah.
Yeah, it seems
right.
like they're popping up everywhere. Well, now there's been one found at Cape Henlopen State Park's Gordon Pond Beach. Did you hear about this?
Too. No.
Yeah, there it is. John Calaviccio said he saw it floating around in the water but couldn't figure out what it was, so he swam out and got it. Turned out to be an orange bottle with a message that he said looked like a love letter to someone. I wonder if it was to him.
But he didn't tell us what it was. Oh! You can't do that to us. All right, we'll find out. Let's see if we can find out more about that. Just in case you hadn't noticed, they're back. The pests of the deep blue sea are invading the Rehoboth beaches. Yep, the jellyfish are here. The good news is farther south, not nearly as many have been spotted. Scientists say stings by jellyfish, planktonic creatures that lack both a heart and a brain, sounds like some people I know, are very common during the summer months. And of course, they're very painful if you ever had one of those things. Now, there are some things that you can do to treat jellyfish stings. First, get the person out of the water. That's the big thing. Then you can stop the stinging, wash the area with seawater. That'll help deactivate the stinging cells. Decontaminate, remove the tentacles. You can apply vinegar, shaving cream, even a paste of sand if you like, the seawater, with sand and seawater for 30 minutes. Scrape it with a credit card. That'll help remove the stinging cells. You can treat the discomfort with a mild hydrocortisone cream or maybe an oral antihistamine. If you've got that, it'll help with the itching and the swelling. And be sure to follow up. You can use ice packs or over-the-counter pain relievers for the welts. If you do wind up with an open sore, obviously clean that 3 or 4 times during the day. Bandage it if you have to. So
I've been stung, but I've never been stung like that.
Not
that
that
just
badly.
almost sounds terrible. I mean,
now those particular points, those tips, did some research online to find out about all that stuff. Those are your typical jellyfish stings. If you know for a fact that it was a box jellyfish, that's a whole nother issue. Start with the treatments that we just told you. Call 911, call somebody to come out and help you, because a box jellyfish is a nasty thing you don't want to mess with.
I'm just going to go do research because I don't even know what a box jellyfish is.
I'm not sure, but I think it looks like a box.
Logic.
That's why I'm not a scientist. You know, we have been talking about the beach patrols before. They never cease to amaze me. These guys and girls are incredible. 13 men and women, rookies, tested in Dewey Beach yesterday. 8 exercises, including this, carrying a 250-pound stand over 80 feet.
Oh, he's carrying it.
He is carrying it. Captain Todd Fritchman says the test procedures are the same ones they've been using for over 18 years. They can prove that not only are these guys and girls ready physically, but they're ready mentally. And you probably remember when this happened. Yes, our very own Brian Spiros was out playing lifeguard and did a wonderful job with it, including hauling the stand through the sand.
Yeah.
So,
no, but he wasn't carrying it. He was dragging it, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, but
there's a huge difference.
He was only honorary.
Oh,
Had he been a real one, he'd have picked it up, and he didn't want to show off.
Over his shoulder.
That's just how he is. Weddings.
Yeah.
Emotion-filled ceremonies for the joining of 2 lives. It will bring tears to your eyes, a catch in your throat.
Really?
At least it comes until it comes time for throwing the bouquet. Take a look at this. This is bride Natasha Jones.
God.
That's her husband in the cowboy hat. Yes, she's on a bungee. Wait for it. Shwang!
Holy Toledo!
How awesome is that?
Ow!
She wanted to throw the bouquet. Isn't that terrific? He did the same thing though with the garter. So he didn't let her, and he kept his cowboy hat. So just a little fun there they were having out in Utah. I love that one. Why didn't you do that? That'd have been so cool.
I don't know.
Now see, most of the time you save that for later on in life. 20, 25 years I've been wanting to do this a long
Yeah.
Soldier returns from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
The surprise returns are always wonderful. How about this one? A U.S. Air Force captain who wasn't expected for another 3 weeks, I think it was. He'd been serving in Afghanistan. No, he'd been there for 6 months. He wasn't expected back for another 3 weeks. He snuck up on her. Underwater. He was wearing scuba gear. The woman filming the video message for her husband, who she thought wasn't going to be back for a while. Look at this. 3 weeks to see when he approached her. His wife had no idea she was standing just a few feet away from him. The kids had just asked to record a message for him just before he appeared. He told her, Mrs. Bronson, your husband's here, reporting for duty. Their kids ran up to hug him. At first, she was so shocked, she didn't even go anywhere. She just stood there in the water crying before finally giving her husband a great big hug and a great big kiss. That's a good one.
I'm getting all creative. I love it. You know, we had the baseball one.
The baseball one, yeah.
And of course, I always have the classroom
Coming into the
ones.
classrooms.
Yeah,
It's
how
a wonderful
wonderful. Well, still ahead on Delmarva Life, a local man's determination pays off.
I'm a fighting kind of person. I'm very competitive, and I always say to people, I think I hate losing more than I like to win.
How this Berlin man took that fighting spirit from the playing field and used it to get his life back on track, plus what he's doing to help others.
Well, while we're speaking of overcoming adversity, there are plenty of teenagers who face many challenges, but tack on a disability, and most would think the worst. We're going to show you how one teenager is making the most of what she can do.
If you're dieting, you might want to pass on the rice cakes. Yeah, really. Why nutritionists say the dieting staple may be causing you to actually gain weight.
Nuh-uh.
Plus, we have a list of other surprising foods you might want to avoid if you want to shed those pounds.
How about that? And a little later on, tomatoes packed with nutritional goodness. We're in the kitchen making a traditional tomato recipe. Delmarva Life will be right back.
Delmarva Life is brought to you by Sussex County Federal Credit Union, guiding you to your financial future. Peninsula Regional Medical Center, honored to serve the entire Delmarva Peninsula since 1897. Your local York and LG dealers, and State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.